Hi, so after last week's Figma config, I have decided to try out a new format here on this channel. Figma as a product has shifted away from product and UX more towards craft and creativity. I thought it would be super interesting to talk more about these kind of things and to also look at what is happening in the market. Now with resources like Designer News, which has gone away unfortunately a couple of years ago and no one to really fill this spot, I thought maybe we could try this on this channel. So I have decided to try a new format, weekly format actually, where I talk more about the development in design, especially in the fields of craft and creativity. And for a lack of a better name, let's start with This Week in Design. Welcome to the pilot, to the first episode.
Catherine, we have to talk.
What do you want?
Your father and I saw what you've been doing on the family computer.
You went through my tabs?
Cat, sweetie. We know about Figma Draw.
But no buts.
Whatever happened to just importing your SVG files?
Figma is fine for moving rectangles around, but for art?
Oh, you don't understand.
Catherine, sweetie, we're not mad. We're disappointed.
So what you just saw is a scene from the new Figma Draw app. Figma Draw is probably the tool that I am most excited about from the feature set release of the Config 2025. The ad actually, I think, is super quirky and fun. This whole 90s family talk, parents talking to their teenage daughter vibe reminds me a lot of an ad which aired 15, 20 years ago on MTV here in Germany.
Mom, Dad, there's something important I need to share with you. I hope you guys don't get mad at me. There's something that's been on my mind for a very long time, and it's time to come clean. I'm German. Scheiße!
You're not German, you're an idiot!
MTV liebt Günther. I'm not sure if this aired anywhere else outside of the Netherlands and Germany, but it's one of my favorite ads of all time. Of course, I'm going to link both of these videos for you in the description, like all the resources, so everything you are seeing here in this video, you can also find the links to it in the description below. Speaking of Figma, Figma Sites is the talk of town, and not always in the greatest or most positive sense. There's actually a lot of criticism, especially from the tech side. Kevin Powell has looked at the code in a Figma Sites deep dive. Let's take a look.
It's okay for like a visual site builder. And then if you go and look at the code, it's divs all the way down. Except, let's go look at like this piece of text. And this is something I found really interesting. Let's go to the mobile mode actually. We're going to look at this piece of text, and we have a div that the text, and look at that, it even has an area label on it. I don't know why. And then we have dynamic open J, and then the M is in a span. And every single string of text, as far as I can tell, for some reason, the last letter is in its own span.
While Figma Sites might be interesting for those of you who have zero experience with website builders like Webflow or Framer, or zero experience with coding HTML, it actually has some deep flaws. And some of them show in the code. Accessibility is hard. Most of the things that are happening on an interactive layer are happening inside of JavaScript. We have a huge hierarchy, a huge tree of divs, div soup as we call it. So the whole thing is, as I mentioned in my last video, in my Config 2025 video, not the greatest tech, not the greatest under the hood, which might become an issue if you are trying to take the Figma Sites output and extend it, so build something on top, or if you need to create an accessible website, because it might be law in your country like it is in Germany starting this summer. So accessible websites and web products are definitely something you want to have, and it might be really, really hard to achieve with Figma Sites. Ericsson on LinkedIn is also putting out some really good points. Like, there is no dynamic layouts in Figma Sites until now. There's no percentage based height and width, so you are fully relying on either the hug and fill content or the actual pixel values, so no relative contents possible. And of course, one big no-no, there is no video embeds at that point. We also yet have to see how Figma is handling simple interactive components like carousels, like modals, all these kind of things that we have come accustomed to on the web and that we haven't seen executed in Figma Sites just yet. So it will remain exciting. It will be really, really exciting to see how Figma Sites will actually become a live product. So how the whole pricing structure will be, how the whole domain setup will be, and of course how much they are still building into the product to make it compete, to make it truly compete with Webflow, Framer and the likes. One thing we've seen though on Figma Sites is that we get a lot of templates and really cool looking and contemporary things just for free, just to play around with, which gives us a great starting point. Now, is there some kind of new trend? And yes, I found something. It's called OS on the web. So RaiOS is looking a lot like something that you might be familiar with. It's looking like an old version of the Apple operating system. Before it was called Mac OS, and the whole thing is fully functional. So we do have a menu where we can access the typical functions like view, file, sorting. We do have access to all kind of apps here, so we can play Minesweeper. How cool is that? Let's hit a mine here. Bam! We have a synth, so we could play some music on here. We can access videos, so yeah, let's see what it does. Opening up some old Steve Jobs videos, how cool is that? And of course the whole thing is working here in some kind of window manager. My personal favorite feature though is the web browser, which allows you to look at websites through something like a time machine. So if you're checking my website, we can just open the current version. Okay, so of course it's altering the typography a bit, so everything is looking a bit weird in this small window, but we can also go back in time. Let's go back to 2012 and take a look at what my website looked like back in the day. How cool is that? Or even to the very humble beginnings. Let's check 2003. Yeah, we do have something rather minimal here. So RaiOS, I leave you the link in the description. Check it out. It's definitely a cool website to look at. What for? So this trend, we've seen that on multiple websites now, the whole window manager operating system operation, but what is it good for? And there's actually an example from Inika. So Inika also rebuilt some form of macOS, but actually made it about them. So we do have, of course, a dock where we can hover all the icons. We have this effect here on the typography, which I really, really enjoy. This is cool. Nice. And of course, we do have like the resume of Inika. We do have the About Me section, so we can learn a little bit more about her. And then, of course, some kind of project structure, so portfolio of the website. And yeah, it definitely makes a lot of sense. It looks kind of cool. And what surprised me the most, the whole thing is completely built in Framer. So no crazy programming, no crazy custom construction here, no custom template, but actually something that you can build in Framer if you wanted to. How cool is that? Speaking of macOS, Jony Ive is back. Well, Not back at Apple or not back with a big product, but back with a talk. Let's take a look.
Okay, let's do this. All right, what do you think of the design?
It's lovely, isn't it? What we make stands testament to who we are. And what we make describes our values, it describes our preoccupations, it describes beautifully, succinctly our preoccupation. And this struck me so powerfully when I saw the Mac.
Sir Jony Ive, the designer of the iPod, the iMac, the first iPhone, basically all the Apple products that you've come to love, was invited to the Stripe sessions to have an hour-long conversation about design values, and well, you should definitely check it out. It's an inspiring hour well spent. Google has a new logo. So this is the Google G that we've come accustomed to in the last 15 years, and they changed it for something that looks very, very similar, but instead of having the iconic Google colors separated, they are kind of flowing together in a gradient. I think that looks kind of cool, but why now and why this change? We will probably learn more about it next week at Google I/O. What we know already is that Android is getting a visual update. Google announced Material Design Expressive with the goal of making the software interface more expressive, obviously more emotional, more evocative, and yeah, more vibey. Personally, I think this is a cool development. I really like the new design language. You can clearly see the inspiration by Nothing OS in the new Android language, and I'm really excited to see how it will be executed, how it looks and feels like when we get to see it on the device. That's it for this week. I'm really excited to see you next time. I hope you like this kind of video. I hope you like this kind of format. Please leave me some feedback in the comments, and if you liked it, of course, don't forget to subscribe. I will see you in the next one. Until then, bye.